And welcome to another Mark Bishop Show. Well, have you ever wondered how does the big business of breeding impaired dogs cause animal suffering? And why breeding dogs for, aesthetic purposes hurts animals and human? Now, maybe you'd like, maybe you think it's right or wrong, but Colin Henstock, he's the investigations project manager for People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, our good friends PETA. So, folks, imagine a life of struggling for oxygen with every breath. That's the reality for French and English bulldogs, Boston Terriers, pug boxers, and other breathing impaired breeds they call bibs, who are purposely bred to have severely distorted airways that make it hard for them to breathe. I know how they feel, and cause them great discomfort to pant and snort and wheeze. Sad. So, as I said, my guest, Colin Henstock, Investigations Project Manager for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. Lovely to have you again. Colin, how are you doing?
I'm great. Good to speak with you again.
These breeds endure immense pain and suffering by the sounds of things, lifelong disabilities, ailments, and even premature death. In fact, the life expectancy of a French bulldog is reportedly only 4.5 years. So young. Bibs are also twice as likely to suffer from heat stroke as other breeds are plagued by an uncomfortable, debilitating, and often fatal condition called brachycephalic syndrome, which makes going for a walk or chasing a ball, running and playing, so many things that make dogs' lives joyful and fulfilling difficult and even life-threatening. It's not much fun, Colin, is it, for them?
It's absolutely not. Bibs really cannot breathe well due to their snout being shortened and pushed so far back against their skulls due to decades of selective breeding, and there really isn't enough space in there to accommodate their normal anatomical features. So everything in their sinuses is really squished back and makes it a struggle just to breathe.
Yeah, well, where I'm talking to you from is 112 years today. Many people mistakenly believe that their rasping, shortness of breath, apparently snoring and panting are normal or even cute, when they're in fact signs of distress that could lead to death, especially in hot weather. So where I'm at, that people must be, very careful. What are, some health conditions and symptoms bibs suffer from?
Well, some common symptoms are labored breathing, snorting, snoring heavily, coughing, gagging, vomiting, tiring easily and collapsing. And like you said, many people look at a pug or a French bulldog and think that their heavy kind of rasping, panting is normal or cute, but that's actually a sign that dog is in distress and needs to be cooled off. And if not, that can quickly lead to death in these breeds, especially in the severely hot weather that so much of the country is in right now.
So, I have to ask you this, Colin. Why do breeders continue then to breed bibs when it's well known, that they have chronic health issues?
They continue to breed them because people keep buying them, just simply put. It is a big business, and as long as there's money to be made by selling and showing and breeding these dogs, breeders will always prioritize making a profit, regardless of how many of these intentionally deformed dogs suffer and die in the process.
Yeah, it's not good. I've received your link to the video. I'm going to put that up on the site as well. That business there that goes on, it's nasty. So let me ask you this then. How can someone who has a bib best care for that animal then?
If someone has a breathing impaired dog already, we recommend staying out of hot and humid environments and taking them for walks during the coolest parts of the day. It's also important to reduce their overall excitement and to keep a close eye on their breathing. And it's really important to have regular appointments with their veterinarian to stay on top of any developing health issues, because a lot of these dogs, the people who buy them often find themselves financially overwhelmed by trying to manage some of these really expensive health issues. In one study, 1/5 of brachycephalic dog guardians reported that their dog had undergone at least one surgery related to having these distorted facial features. And those surgeries are costly, they're dangerous, they are painful and traumatic for their dogs and for their human guardians as well.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. Now, if you're listening and you pertain to this particular doggy, you can go on to the site, PETA.org, www.peta.org. There's a lot of stuff about this, isn't there, on the site, Colin?
That's right. You can learn more about this issue and other issues affecting animals by visiting our site. And we do ask those who already have one of these breathing impaired breeds to really commit to making that animal's life as fulfilling and healthy and comfortable as possible, but to not buy another one. And the next time you're ready to add an animal to your family, to look at your local shelters, look on petfinder.com, look for even breed-specific rescues, and adopt a dog rather than buy one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. PETA cares in many different ways. Colin Henstock, of course, who is the investigations project manager for PETA, he works closely with PETA's undercover investigators and whistleblowers, of course, to expose the conditions and treatments of animals in the pet trade. And it's big and it's huge and it's disgusting. And, of course, other animal exploiting industries. Pretty famous for that filthy dairy farm story, aren't you?
Yeah, that's one of several we've had that was just especially horrendous conditions in the animal agriculture industry, which is a major thing that PETA takes on factory farms like egg farms, pig farms, massive dairies that can be extremely filthy and deny the animals that they're raising any sort of natural or enjoyable life whatsoever.
Yeah, and I remember last year the big story, because I actually then saw it on TV. It made national news. The big one you did with all those doggies, I think it were beagles, and you got them all placed into people's homes.
That's right. The Envigo Beagle facility was a facility in Virginia that PETA investigated and was breeding thousands of beagles and churning them out to be sold to laboratories where they would be experimented on.
Yeah.
And after our investigation, we complained to the USDA and the Department of Justice and really pushed, and the facility was closed down. All of the remaining beagles there found really great homes. There's a couple of PETA staffers who have beagles from there now that I get the pleasure to see from time to time, and right. We're really ecstatic with the success that we had there.
Congratulations. That was a wonderful little mission and project, or big mission and project you got done. Fantastic. PETA does amazing work. If it sounds like I'm loyal to them, I am, and I've got a soft spot for them because, I didn't agree with back in the 60s, ruining women's coats and all that jazz with paint. But they were young then. They just wanted to make a statement. But now, the stuff that goes on, you wouldn't believe the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that PETA have to endure to try and stop and do. I mean, it's disgusting, particularly the monkeys one. That's so sad, too. There's so many laboratories utilizing for absolutely nothing. But this story today and the chat with Colin was all about the big business of breeding. So be careful. Don't mistake if you do have a bib. They're rasping, their shortness of breath, snoring. You'd never think that one, would you? And panting. You think they're normal, right? Or even cute. When in fact they're signs of distress and that can lead to death. And especially in the sweltering hot weather that we're getting here. In Arizona anyway. And across the country for that matter. So be careful. Colin, fantastic speaking with you. Anything you'd like to finish off on?
Well, we just always urge anyone who has the time and resources to open their home to a dog to do so, but they should always adopt and never buy.
Always adopt and never buy. That's the slogan. All right. Remember, you can go to www.peta.org. P-E-T-A, PETA.org. Okay. Thank you, Colin. Lovely speaking with you. No doubt we'll hear from you soon. You're always first out of the gate with something brand new that nobody hears about, and I always love to hear about it from you. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me again, Mark.